Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 331 based on novel. So let's start. The moment the old Divine Emperor sent out the divine sense, Wang Lin, who was about to enter the burning star field, trembled. He suddenly looked up and his expression changed. As the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor and also someone who had cultivated the same 9 mysterious transformations, he naturally had a special method to communicate with the old Divine Emperor. Wang Lin didn't hesitate to use the talisman that was still on him and charged into the burning star field. He was too fast, and just as he entered the burning star field, he took a step and disappeared using spatial bending. In an instant, ripples appeared 100 feet from the white stone the old Divine Emperor was on, and Wang Lin stepped out. He immediately saw the old Divine Emperor's bloody eyes. Death aura was spreading out from the old Divine Emperor. Wang Lin didn't even need to use his divine sense to feel death fiercely trying to take the old Divine Emperor. Senior, Wang Lin's eyes were filled with sorrow as he stepped onto the white stone and opened his mouth. He had many things to say, yet he wasn't able to utter a single word. The old Divine Emperor raised his head. There was a hint of light within his eyes that were bleeding black blood. Your senior brother, Qing Shui, is really inside the Cultivation Alliance headquarters. The activation of the formation outside the headquarters was directly related to him. He didn't die, but he went crazy. The Cultivation Alliance has been hiding a heaven-shaking secret for countless years. When Master Xianzhong and them went to the Rain Celestial Realm back then, not only did they obtain most of the inheritances, they also found some mysterious things. They have been studying them for these countless years. I fear not even the brilliant Void Realm knew of this matter. These mysterious things are too important, they could even affect the 4 celestial realms. Wang Lin, quickly go save the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor and then immediately send this jade to the brilliant Void Realm. This matter is too terrifying. Your cultivation level isn't high enough, so don't get involved in this. The old Divine Emperor was already on his deathbed, and after saying so many things at once, he couldn't help but try to catch his breath. However, he still struggled to raise his right hand and point to between his eyebrows. His origin soul suddenly flew out from his body and looked at Wang Lin with a gentle gaze. Wang Lin, take care of yourself. I'm unable to help you anymore. After he spoke, his origin soul released a burst of soft light, but soon it turned into a bright light that spread in all directions. In the blink of an eye, the brightness of the light reached a peak, and Wang Lin's vision blurred. When he could see again, he saw the old Divine Emperor's origin soul gradually dissipate into specks of light. At that moment, he clearly saw a hint of melancholy and relief on the old Divine Emperor's face. 2 things appeared where the old Divine Emperor dissipated. There was a red jade and a crystal the size of a baby's fist. Pure celestial spiritual energy came from the crystal and slowly spread out. Wang Lin silently pondered, and the sadness in his eyes became even stronger. He silently looked at where the old Divine Emperor's origin soul had dissipated, and after a long time, he let out a sigh before looking at the old Divine Emperor's body. After losing the origin soul, the body began to burn until it turned into a burning statue. It maintained the old Divine Emperor's previous appearance and position. His right hand was still pointing to between his eyebrows. Wang Lin took a few steps back, kneeled down on the stone, and kowtowed 3 times on the stone. He didn't worship or kneel for the heavens, but the old Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor received 3 kowtows from Wang Lin. The moment the old Divine Emperor died, all the elders in the Vermilion Bird Divine sect felt sadness in their hearts. They all silently flew out from the planets they were on and knelt down toward the direction of the old Divine Emperor's body. Tears flowed out from their eyes. I respectfully send off the Divine Emperor. I hope you have a good trip. I pray the Divine Emperor's soul in heaven will protect my Vermilion Bird Divine sect. Soon, not only them, but all the Vermilion Bird Divine sect members felt the sadness that spread across the world. They all knew that the old Divine Emperor had left. The sect members knelt down one by one and tears silently flowed out from their eyes. Respectfully sending off the Divine Emperor, a sound that came out from the heart gradually came out of the cultivation planets and became louder and louder. Even the vermilion bird statues on the main planets let out cries of sadness. An illusory vermilion bird that was very old and tired flew out from the old Divine Emperor's body. It flew into the distance until it turned into nothing. The once powerful vermilion bird Divine Emperor that led the four divine sect through the crisis of the White Tiger Divine Emperor's death, the Black Tortoise Divine Emperor's betrayal, and the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor's disappearance. After countless years, the old Divine Emperor had finally passed on. At this moment, the elders of the Azure Dragon Divine Sect, the White Tiger Divine Sect, and the Black Tortoise Divine Sect all felt something. They silently looked at the direction of the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect and knelt down. The members of these three sects also knelt down. A sad aura shrouded the eastern region of the Alliance. The former glory had gone with the wind. The pursuit without regret was merely for the past. The present was lost in the sadness of the past, but it will exist forever, in the hearts of all four Divine Sect members. After the old Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor died, all heaven called back all their cultivators. Under the command of Master Flamespark, they headed toward planet Suzaku. Even the only family who had an inheritance from the ancient cultivation world came from all heaven to join them. The halls from the Thunder Celestial Temple moved among the cultivators and gave off bursts of pressure. Not only them, the Corpse Sect almost sent out their entire sect toward planet Suzaku. Long teams of disciples with coffins moved through the stars. It looked like a funeral procession. The actions of these two sides immediately caught the attention of the various Alliance forces. After seeing the information on the Jades, the forces met in secret and all sent out their own forces. At this instant, a storm was set off inside the Alliance. The dark aura before a violent storm gradually appeared. On the other side, in the eastern region of the Four Divine Sect, a group of elders also led their sect members toward planet Suzaku. This was to cover up the Four Divine Sect's real movement. Almost at the same moment all the various forces arrived at planet Suzaku. The remaining 35 Nirvana Shatter elders gathered in the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. They sat in a formation with serious expressions and expectation in their eyes. They formed a circle, and everyone had a formation below them. Between the 35 people, there was a circular shape that was empty. However, there were 35 branches that connected this circle with the formations under the 35 elders. There was a large amount of four Divine Sect members around the 35 elders, no less than 10,000 people. They all sat down, and there was a formation below each of them that linked to the formations under the 35 elders. They were all waiting for the order. Once order was given, they would release all the origin energy inside their bodies without reservation to open the formation. At this moment, Wang Lin moved among the stars and slowly made his way forward. Soon, he arrived before a ring of fire that rotated like a storm. Shuligua's roar could sometimes be heard from within. Wang Lin stopped outside the firestorm and shouted, "Shuligua!" After he spoke, Shuligua's voice inside the fire suddenly stopped. At the same time, a huge gap within the firestorm suddenly appeared. The gap was large enough that you could clearly see Shuligua's sorry figure inside. After hearing Wang Lin's voice, Shuligua subconsciously revealed a look of flattery, but he forcibly suppressed it. Instead, he revealed his suppressed anger. "You murderous fiend, you finally remembered your grandpa Shu. Today I'm going to deal with you." Shuligua had been forced into countless life and death situations that forced him to comprehend the ancient sword intent. His cultivation level had increased leaps and bounds, so much so that he would even dare to fight against ordinary Nirvana Scryer cultivators. At this moment, he charged out filled with anger and turned into a giant sword. He looked exactly like the celestial sword and contained a hint of the aura of wealth. As he charged out, the flames around him were pushed back. The large sword Shuligua formed charged out and closed in on Wang Lin. Coldness flashed across Wang Lin's eyes and he didn't even look at the giant sword. He waved his right hand and endless origin energy gathered before shooting at the giant sword coming at him. A rumbling sound echoed and the giant sword collapsed. Shuligua retreated in terror, but he was unwilling to give up. He let out a roar and T-Hen turned into 9 big swords that formed a sword formation. The sword formation gave off a monstrous sword intent and charged at Wang Lin once more. Wang Lin nodded slightly. The current Shuligwa barely met his requirements. He entered the sword formation and casually grabbed one of the swords. He mercilessly squeezed it, and popping sounds echoed and the remaining 8 swords all collapsed. However, the sword intent remained and turned into 8 giant skulls that charged at Wang Lin. Interesting. Thunder flashed in Wang Lin's right eye and endless thunder surrounded him. The thunder moved around like snakes and the 8 skulls let out a miserable screams and all exploded. Holding the large sword in his hand, Wang Lin used a bit more force and cracking sounds came from the sword along with Shuligwa's panicking voice. Master! Master! Little Shu was wrong. It wasn't intentional, I just haven't met my tall, mighty, handsome, confident, smart, brave, extraordinary, unparalleled, unique, surpasses all those behind and after, wise, bold, accomplished, elegant, handsome like a jade tree, loved by all, talented, great scholar, heaven-shaking cultivation, an amiable master. This little one has missed you a lot. After all these years, Master finally remembered Little Shu. I thought that Master no longer wanted me. Master, please go easy, go easy. Shuligwa was timid by nature and was frightened out of his wits. He had said every single thing he could think of at once, and even Wang Lin was startled after hearing this. Shuligwa felt death closing in once more. Wang Lin's hand was like the scythe that could harvest his soul. Just a bit more force and it would crush his soul that was hidden inside the sword. Shut up! Wang Lin frowned. Shuligwa immediately stopped talking, but his sword body trembled as he thought, it's over, it's over. I must have been crazy to dare to attack this fiend. Shuligwa, Shuligwa, you're such a cunning devil, how could you be so impulsive? This refinement is over and I'll see your performance from now on. If you dare to rebel again, I'll erase you. Wang Lin's voice was cold, but it was like a spring breeze that eased Shuligwa's heart. He quickly said, Master really is Han. Without waiting for Shuligwa to finish, Wang Lin waved his right hand and sent the sword into the spatial crack. He didn't want to listen to Shuligwa's exaggerated flattery. After putting away Shuligwa, Wang Lin took a step to the side and disappeared. Tarshan was still sitting on a cultivation planet somewhere within the Vermilion Bird Divine sect. There were several beast skins beside him, and he continued to infuse tattoo power onto them. As he was drawing, Tarshan's right hand trembled and he raised his head. Wang Lin had unknowingly appeared and calmly looked at him. Tarshan pondered a bit and bitterly said, Master. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze and looked into the distance. After a long time, he calmly said, You have regained your consciousness, so you don't need to call me Master. Tarshan's face became even more bitter and then he softly said, It was Master who allowed me to survive until now. Tarshan will never forget this. Wang Lin let out a sigh as he looked at Tarshan and asked, When are you leaving? Tarshan's body trembled as he looked up Wang Lin. After pondering for a bit, he let out a wry smile and said, How did Master see through me? You've been making talismans since you got here. If you didn't have a plan already, you wouldn't be doing this. This was the first time Wang Lin had met Tarshan in a few years. Wang Lin also felt very complex about meeting his former celestial guard. Tarshan nodded and whispered, I want to see my clan members back in all heaven. Master, aside from the talismans I made for myself, I also made 3 for you. They are Speed, Collapse, and Seal. As he spoke, he took out 3 beast skins and respectfully handed them to Wang Lin. These 3 talismans were made with very rare hides. The amount of effort that went into making them was several times higher than normal. Wang Lin looked at Tarshan as he took the 3 talismans and said, The Alliance star system is very chaotic right now. Be careful on your trip. Tarshan looked at Wang Lin and nodded. If you see the disciple I took on planet Qinling, then please help me take care of him. Wang Lin took another look at Tarshan before leaving. It wasn't until Wang Lin left that Tarshan silently knelt down and kowtowed once toward Wang Lin. Then he put away all the beast skins, took a deep breath, and flew into the sky. Situ naturally had to go on this trip to the Rain Celestial Realm to save the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor. The poison in his body hadn't been completely forced out, and if there was no antidote, it would cause trouble later on. Situ Nan had already arrived next to where the 35 elders were and was standing next to one of them. This was the elder that was helping Situ Nan expel the poison. Situ Nan sat there with a serious expression, but he had already made up his mind. If he gets the poison removed, he is going to drag Wang Lin to planet Fengluan to get revenge. He was going to return all the suffering he had to endure from the female cultivators on planet Fengluan. There were some abandoned planets in the Vermilion Bird Divine sect that weren't suited for people to live on. They were filled with poisonous gas, and the flames made the poison even more intense. At this moment, Wang Lin appeared next to one of these abandoned planets. There were no plants and almost all life had extinguished. There was only a black desert that gave off intense heat. When you stood on this black desert, you could feel the traces of poison mixed in with the heat. The black desert wasn't flat, it had ups and downs, and even mountains. There was a mountain before Wang Lin. It was completely black, and the heat waves caused Wang Lin's white hair to flow in the wind. Wang Lin clasped his hands and said, "Wang Lin greets Senior's celestial cloud couple." The moment his voice came out, a ray of sword energy came out from the mountain and shot toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin didn't retreat but smiled as he looked at the sword energy. The sword energy closed in and turned into a person. This person looked middle-aged and was very handsome but a bit pale. When he looked at Wang Lin, he also had a smile on his face. "Wang Lin, the two seniors already knew you'd come, so come down with me." This man was Zhu Yi. There was no need to talk about their relationship. With a smile, the two of them stepped into the mountain and went down. This mountain was extremely deep, and intense heat waves came from within. Wang Lin naturally didn't care, and he looked at Zhu Yi. Zhu Yi looked normal and whispered, "When I first came here, I really wasn't used to it, but now it's no problem." Zhu Yi high-stated a bit but still asked, "Wang Lin, I heard you came this time because you plan to save the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor." Wang Lin shook his head as he looked at Zhu Yi with a look of respect and said, "In addition to saving the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor, there is also the matter with Celestial Emperor Qing Lin. Only by awakening Qing Lin can Celestial Lord Qing Shuang revive." After Zhu Yi heard this, excitement filled his face. He looked at Wang Lin and gratefully said, "Thank you." Wang Lin's expression became complicated and he shook his head. Zhu Yi was startled and immediately thought of something. His expression became bleak, and as he descended with Wang Lin, he said, "You and I are very alike, but I have you to help me while you have no one to help you. Big brother Zhu is powerless to help you." Wang Lin silently pondered and didn't say more. Not long after, the two arrived at the bottom. The bottom had been changed completely by someone with a powerful spell. This was like a different world separated from the poison. It was like the Garden of Eden. A small river flowed to an unknown location with several wooden huts near it. There were even fields of green with a few blooming flowers. Wang Wei was sitting on the side of the river, smiling at his lover, Hu Huan, on the other side. Hu Huan was like a child with her feet in the river, occasionally kicking up a wave. After Wang Lin and Zhu Yi entered the barrier, Wang Lin clasped his hands and respectfully said, "Junior Wang Lin greets two seniors." Wang Wei looked at Wang Lin and smiled. "Tell me the reason you asked me to sneak attack Li Yunzi, otherwise, I won't let you off so easily." Hu Huan on the other side of the river smiled as she moved her hair and said, "Wang Lin, he cares about this a lot. He feels it's embarrassing to sneak attack a junior with his status as a senior." Wang Lin smiled. Wang Wei and Hu Huan had become very close to him after what happened at the Demon Spirit Land. They no longer regarded him as an outsider. Wang Wei probably didn't care that much about sneak attacking Li Yunzi. Since he was asked, Wang Lin explained a bit and Wang Wei no longer cared about it after listening to the reason. Back in the Demon Spirit Land, Junior heard Celestial Emperor Qing Lin's last words. Rain Celestial Realm Temple, Origin Soul Crystal, and Qing Shuang's body. Junior has two of them, but the Rain Celestial Realm Temple. Wang Lin paused here and looked at Wang Wei. Wang Wei's expression became serious and he nodded. "During these years, I have thought about it, and there was indeed a temple. It was where Master became the Celestial Emperor. I also told you about this matter before, so you coming here now means, Wang Wei looked at Wang Lin. Wang Lin silently pondered before telling them about how the old Divine Emperor had taken the Rain Celestial Realm crystal. Wang Wei became serious after hearing this, and even Hu Huan stopped playing in the river. She put on her shoes and came next to Wang Wei. The two of them looked at each other, and Wang Wei said, "The two of us will remember the old Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor's kindness. If the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor is really trapped in the Rain Celestial Realm, the two of us will help rescue him to repay the old Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor's favor of getting the Rain Celestial Realm crystal." Wang Lin nodded. Wang Wei and Hu Huan tidied up a bit and, along with Zhu Yi, left with Wang Lin. As for Qing Lin's body, Wang Wei was holding it. On the formation on the main Vermilion Bird planet, everyone was silently waiting. At this moment, four rays of light closed in and arrived at the formation, revealing Wang Lin, Wang Wei, and company. Wang Lin stepped into the center of the formation and sat down without wasting time. His eyes shined and he shouted, "Open the formation." With that, his right hand reached at the void and a crack appeared. A crystal filled with celestial spiritual energy flew out. At the same time, the 10,000 sect members opened their eyes, and their origin energy went into the formation. The formation below them immediately began to flash. The moment the light reached a certain degree of brightness, it began to gather under the 35 elders. All the elders formed a seal and activated their energy like crazy. All the origin energy from the disciples were split into 35 portions and moved straight toward the crystal before Wang Lin at the center of the formation. In an instant, the crystal shined brightly, and an unimaginable quantity of celestial spiritual energy filled the area. A pillar of celestial spiritual energy shot into the sky, and ripples spread out in all directions. A thunderous rumble echoed as the door to the Rain Celestial Realm slowly appeared above the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect planet. At this moment, all the cultivators who had reached a certain cultivation felt this fluctuation. Those who are familiar could tell that the Rain Celestial Realm had opened. At the same time, the rain furnaces appeared across the Alliance star system. However, all heaven, the Corp sect, and the various Alliance forces had already gathered around planet Suzaku. Although they were shocked, they didn't have time to worry about this. People with our cultivation level will make the Rain Celestial Realm unstable and collapse on a large scale. We must quickly rescue the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor. After Wang Lin spoke, he charged toward the Rain Celestial Realm gate. Behind him, the 35 elders, Sichu Nan, Wang Wei, Hu Huan, and others all followed. Another person who Wang Lin was too busy to pay attention to also charged toward the Rain Celestial Realm. That person was the Silver Female Corpse. At the same time, on a remote, abandoned planet in the northern region of the Alliance, the planet shook violently and split open in a cross. An old man with white hair floated out with his hair covering his face. There was a crystal light flashing before him. It was a rain furnace. Wang Lin. You can't escape my calculations. At this moment, a gust of wind blew away the messy hair on the old man's face, revealing him to be all-seer. The sun rose early in the morning and the sunlight dispersed the darkness. The people that woke up early caused the city of Flowing Cloud to become lively. Shops opened one by one, and the food street on the west side was especially filled with people shouting. The fried dough coming out of the boiling oil, the white buns revealed in the steam baskets, and tofu with other snacks made this street very lively. Seng Shueishan's stall was selling wine. Even though it was morning, their Seng family's wine was light and refreshing. Drinking it in the morning wouldn't make you drunk, instead, it made people feel refreshed, so it was quite popular. Seng Shueishan, who was about 50 years old, stood on the side with a pipe while looking at the server that was busy working. A smile appeared on his face filled with wrinkles. A middle-aged man who had just bought a jug of wine shook it before taking a big gulp. He smiled at Old Man Seng and said, "Uncle Seng, your wine isn't as tasty as before. Are you missing ingredients?" Old Man Seng's eyes widened as he smoked the pipe and snorted. "Nonsense, my Seng family's wine." Before Old Man Seng finished speaking, the middle-aged man laughed. "Your Seng family's wine has been passed down for thousands of years. It was said that it even caught the fancy of an immortal. Uncle Seng, you say those words almost every day. I still have to go to work, so I don't have time to listen to your long-winded speech." The middle-aged man took the wine with a smile and left. Old man Seng took a big drag of his pipe and muttered, "What does a little brat know? My Seng family's wine was indeed drunk by a celestial for more than 60 years, 1,000 years ago. He still had a few wooden carvings that were more than 1,000 years old. These were carvings of the Seng family's first-generation ancestor in Flowing Cloud City and a blur-effaced immortal. There was a legend that was passed down for generations within their Seng family. The legend was that their Seng family wasn't originally from Flowing Cloud City, but had moved here during a snowstorm disaster. The rumor had it that their ancestor lived with that immortal for more than 60 years and that the immortal was the benefactor who helped them move here. Ancestor Seng Danu lived to the age of 137. Even before death, he still remembered that immortal. This story has been passed down for generations, so how can it be fake? Old man Seng narrowed his eyes and tapped his pipe on the ground. He looked extremely proud. However, he quickly rubbed his eyes and carefully looked at the sky, and his mouth widened. The sky was originally clear and the sun shined brightly. However, large ripples appeared in the sky and swept across the entire sky. Thunderous rumbles echoed, causing the lively street to immediately quiet down. Everyone looked up at the sky, and panic appeared in their eyes. Shortly after, as the ripples passed, rays of light appeared in the sky and descended like meteors. These rays of light easily broke through the atmosphere and turned into cultivators. Immortals, the mortals on the ground all exclaimed and began to tremble. Some immediately hid inside their houses and didn't dare to come out. "Don't disturb these mortals, quickly gather in a sea of devils." A commanding voice echoed like thunder. At the same time, the cultivators that descended didn't stop and quickly flew off into the distance. At the same time, this same scene appeared all over planet Suzaku. This shocking change caused the mortal empires to panic. The mortals all trembled and didn't know what to do. Fortunately, those immortals didn't harm any of the mortals. The moment they appeared, they flew away. The native cultivators on planet Suzaku naturally saw this, but none of them dared to fly up and ask. Not even those at the soul formation or soul transformation stages dared. Any of the foreign cultivators flying across the sky was strong enough to make you tremble. There were some that could make you almost collapse with one gaze. Even the few ascendant cultivators on planet Suzaku looked at the sky with shock. Ju Wutai's expression was gloomy. Very few cultivators flying across the sky were ones he could deal with. As for the rest, just their auras were enough to make him gasp. Fortunately, even though there were many different forces among these cultivators, none of them bothered the native cultivators. They all charged toward the Sea of Devils. The entire sky was covered by rays of light, and a moment later, a giant shadow appeared in the sky. The sun in the sky was covered by a large shadow. At this moment, the entire planet was covered by a shadow. These shadows were the palaces from the Thunder Celestial Temple. They didn't descend onto planet Suzaku, they just orbited it. After all, planet Suzaku was half-wasted, so it couldn't withstand the powerful fluctuations from the palaces. Shortly after the shadows appeared, coffins began to descend. There were coffins of various sizes, and they were surrounded by many cultivators. As people flew toward the Sea of Devils, they naturally saw the huge statue on the ground. This was the statue in the Cloud Sky sect. An arrogant cultivator from all heaven saw that a tiny cultivation planet like this had dared to build such a statue. He felt like this statue looked familiar, but he didn't think too much about it. He let out a cold snort and was about to destroy it as he passed by. However, just as his right hand was about to descend, a feminine voice came from behind him. "Stop!" The cultivator was startled as he looked back and said, "Shizifan, what is the meaning of this?" The woman who spoke was Shizifan. She coldly looked at the arrogant cultivator and calmly said, "Take a closer look at who this statue is a carving of." With that, she disregarded the cultivator, then she looked at the statue with a complex gaze and let out a sigh before flying away. The arrogant cultivator frowned and carefully looked at the statue. The more he looked at it, the more familiar it looked, then his eyes opened wide and he gasped. "This is Thunder Celestial Shu Mu. Although all heaven had already removed Wang Lin's right as Thunder Celestial, Wang Lin's battle for the title was famous. It was not something that would be forgotten in short few hundred years of time. This arrogant cultivator's scalp went numb. He knew that Shu Mu's Daoist name was Master Devil, and it was not something he could forget. He also felt that destroying someone's statue was a bit pointless, so he turned and quickly left. Master Flamespark and company, along with people of the Corpse sect, also noticed this. After orders were sent out, no one else dared to think about destroying the statue. The Corpse sect, all heaven, and the various powers of the Alliance all gathered on planet Suzaku. They all quickly gathered at the Sea of Devils based on the information they were given. Planet Suzaku wasn't very big, so they quickly rushed toward the Sea of Devils. In truth, no side had sent many cultivators to planet Suzaku. In total, there were about 7,000 cultivators. They were the first wave to check the area. After all, although the credibility of Wang Lin's information was high, they still had to verify it. Even more cultivators were floating outside planet Suzaku. They were all in their own groups, waiting for the news from the first wave. All the restrictions blocking the path to the land of the ancient god were nothing in these cultivators' eyes. They all charged through and arrived past the chaotic broken stars at the entrance to the land of the ancient god. Ferocious roars came out from the oval-shaped entrance to the land of the ancient god. The first trial to enter the land of the ancient god was the dark abyss filled with floating boulders. However, at this moment, all the boulders collapsed and pairs of ferocious eyes lit up. This place was where Wang Lin almost died and where the Thunder Toad appeared, and it was now filled with countless ferocious beasts. They were silently waiting. Roars came out from the oval in the Sea of Devils that led to the land of the ancient god. The surrounding cultivators paused for a moment, but they didn't stop. They all stepped into the oval. When the first cultivators appeared, a ray of red light charged out from the bottom of the endless abyss. Just as a cultivator was about to move, a flash of red lightning came out from below and landed on them. This person's body trembled and he was numb for a moment. Just at this moment, a red light closed in. It was a red python almost 10,000 feet long, and it immediately devoured the cultivator. This action was a signal to start the slaughter. Many ferocious beasts charged out and began a life and death battle with the cultivators that entered. At this moment, blood fell like rain in this abyss and aroused the ferocious nature of the beasts. As the fighting continued, the fluctuations of origin energy gradually spread to the depths of the abyss that not even Wang Lin had explored. Two blood-red eyes looked up at the cultivators above. At the same time, within the sea of blood deep within the land of the ancient god, the red-haired Torsen was sitting on top of a pillar. His finger was sliding on the ground, making a harsh sound. He slowly raised his head, revealed a smile. Then he raised his right hand and mercilessly grasped. This video will end here.